to do today is kind of go over some numbers with you, what it's going to, obviously your investment here, but then where you can make the money and how you're going to make the money and really how to find out, really kind of just what your next steps are. So what I want to start off doing is let's talk about, is there a market? Every so often, I like to go to this particular group. It's called Research and Markets. And I usually go over there and try to pull the latest data. Now, obviously, we know we're in 2024. We're just in the first few months of 2024. So 2023 has been done. And so what I want you to see here is this is the global revenue cycle management market. You can see the market is to forecast a continual annual growth rate, okay, of over 11%. So folks, get that understood. This is you want to be in a growing market. So this is compounded every month. This is growing. And you can see here, just in the US billing alone, okay, we're talking US, $49 billion worth of billing that goes on here in the United States. So when people ask us, is there a market for this? We clearly see that there's a market of it. The rest of that other blue stuff is the global part of it. And you can see that the US alone has more than a greater amount of that. But the other part that I want you to see over there is that there's an expected growth rate between 49 billion in 2023 and over 84 billion in 2028. So we're talking within the next 4 years, it's a significant growth. So now you can see how that continual annual growth rate over 11% grows from 49 billion up to 48 billion. So almost doubling that, because that's what it works there. So I want to share with you is that there is a growing market. This is a wonderful market to be in. Number one, I don't think it'll ever be taken away from the artificial intelligence, because there's so many things that has to be done from just a human interaction with everything that goes on there. So let me share with you one of the troubles and why there is a market. So this is more along why there is a market out there. And if you haven't gotten the book, The New Thriving Medical Practice, you can actually get a PDF copy of that from the person that you're working with here at ABS. You can go back to them after the webinar and say, hey, Eric's mentioned about the New Thriving Medical Practice PDF. Just ask them, I want to make sure you get a copy of this, because this book is going to be important. And I'm going to share some real personal, even as of today, some things that I've heard about this particular book. But you can see here, why is there a market for medical billing? Is because doctors' rejections are so high. They could be as high as 30% in this industry. So when we know that if it's that high, at least that high, then the bulk of that's going to be in the 18 to 19, 15 to 20% range. And folks, what we're able to do and help you to get business is to show doctors how we can get those rejection rates well under 2%. So this is a great book for you to have. And I'm going to share a little bit how this is actually going to help you get your first client. And I've got some real live data to share with you today. But the other thing of it is, if we're asking, is there a market for it? Obviously there is, because market analysis says that most doctors are wasting more than 24 cents out of every dollar go wasted on administrative and billing expenses. And where is that? Part of it is with claims are rejected. The other part of it is that it's just wasted. And so the doctors are, as you can see here, this picture just shows, the doctors are going, gosh, how am I going to do this? So I'm going to answer another question for you. Why would a doctor use me? So let's talk about this real quickly. So you can see here, a lot of you are probably wondering, why would a doctor use me and just not hire a biller to do this in their office? So let's just take a look at the numbers. So if we take 100 claims at $150 per claim, now this is going to be interesting, because I want you to see we're going to be using some of these same numbers when we're kind of forecasting what you can make, okay? So we're going to take 100 claims per week at $150 per claim at 7%. We're going to show what that is outsourced here in a moment. But in this right underneath it, taking those same 100 claims at that same $150 mark, a doctor would probably have to have 1.5 billion employees. And why we say that is that because basically sometimes it takes a couple of people to do this. And, you know, people that work for doctors' offices, they take sick time and leave and all this. So you got to kind of compensate that for not just one person, but somebody else that's got to do it. And then you're going to have to pay them at least $22 an hour on average. Then you get your payroll taxes, workers' comp insurance, the training costs, the cost for vacations, again, at someone taking some time off. Employee benefit packages can be as high as 7,000, and that's really about what it is today. And then the cost of the hardware, software, and IT support, folks, that's really kind of low on that end. But if you just total all of that up, it would cost a practice to do those 100 claims per week, $95,000 a year. Okay. So let's see what it would cost if they just had an outsource. So here's the outsource cost. So if you take that 100 claims at 150 times 52 weeks at 7%, it'll cost that doctor $54,000, just over $54,000. So you can see it's literally almost just under half, or just a little over half of what it would cost if they had someone to do it in-house. And obviously, folks, those numbers can fluctuate. But these are the best numbers that we've been able to pull from our business owners here through American Business Systems. And plus, some of us here at ABS have done medical billing, and so we can clearly understand the cost factors of what it is for a doctor to have a biller in their own office. So I wanted to kind of start this first little part of the webinar is talking about, is there a market for me? Why would a doctor use me? Hopefully I helped answer some of those questions. Folks, again, the growth market for revenue cycle management is growing. Obviously, doctors are having to deal with claims that get rejected as high as up to 30%. They're wasting 20 to 25 cents per dollar on just administrative and billing fees and stuff like that. And then plus you can see here, why would a doctor use you instead of somebody in-house? Clearly, there's an advantage for the doctor, okay? So, I mean, just think you take this, having someone do the same work, the doctor could put $40,000 more back in their pocket right off the bat. So just let that kind of sink in a little bit to help you understand why a doctor would want to consider to outsource. And that's all revealed through what's called a practice analysis that we're going to teach you and show you how to do through your training. So again, let's kind of talk about this. Would you like to build your legacy with a medical billing business? First of all, I love quotes. I found a quote that I like to share with you, and it says this quote's by Gary, and I can't Vaynerchuk. I can't even say his last name, but he says this: your legacy is being written by yourself. Make the right decisions. So nobody else is going to write your legacy. Nobody's going to write your biography. Nobody else is really going to write your autobiography. You need to be able to do it yourself. And that's one of the things that I want you to grasp real quickly. I'm going to go back to a slide here, and I'm just going to show this slide one more time, because this is exactly what the Phillips family has done. They built a legacy. Patrick started this, like I said, he and Linda started this well over 40 years ago. They did billing for a few years. They had people kind of say, hey, what do y'all do? They started teaching this to friends, some families. Then they had a little package of starting to teach this with others. And folks, that's how, again, ABS got to where it is. And this is what they've done. They've written their own story. They've written their own legacy, and they've made a lot of right decisions. But let me tell you, they made a lot of wrong decisions. But the biggest thing the right decision they did is they stuck with it. They didn't let anybody knock them down or tell them that they couldn't do it. They just did it, and we want to share that back with you. That's what this whole 30 years has all been about. So let's talk about the beginning of your legacy. Well, it can start right here with American Business Systems with your investment of $30,000. Again, if you want to know a little bit more about what the $30,000 will get you, once you go back to your business coach here at ABS, I'm going to share a little bit about that with you this afternoon, but because we only have just to the bottom of the hour, I want to make sure that I get through and kind of show you what to do with one doctor. So I like to start right here. Graphics are great. I like to deal with simplicity. I like to deal with, let's just get you help with one doctor. So let's talk about how many patients a doctor will see in a day's time. it could be as low as 15, maybe 20, but average a doctor's office, a primary care physician, is going to see basically about 25 patients a day, give or take a little bit. And the reason I say that, because some days it might be a little higher, it could be up to 30. When everybody's feeling well, the doctor may not see as many patients, it may dip down to 18. But boy, when flu season comes back around, it's going to kick back up maybe to 35. So when you average it all out throughout the entire year, it's about 25 patients a day. I mean, most of you have been to a doctor's office and you've gone in there and you go, my goodness, look at all these people here in the office. When am I going to be able to be seen by the doctor? And you go, there's got to be more than 25 people in this room here already. So you can kind of see that typically a doctor's going to see anywhere from, let's say, 10 to 12 patients before lunch, 10 to 12, after lunch and into the evening. And then they're making phone calls afterwards, and they're doing maybe even some telemedicines after hours. So this number right here is not blowing anything out of the water. So again, we mentioned earlier that each patient is going to be reimbursed about $150, right? That's why we made that chart earlier, okay? That it was $150 per patient as a reimbursement. And again, that's average. So when you start doing billing, you may have a low procedure code that you're doing for the doctor, and it might only reimburse the doctor $95, but then a higher reimbursement code may be $175. So again, this is average of what you're going to find there, about $150. And that's including their copay. So you can't forget about that, because remember, you're helping collect everything of that doctor. So people have asked me, Eric, do I charge my percentage even what the copay is? You bet, because guess why? Because you are the revenue cycle manager. You're there to help that doctor get everything that they need. So if we take that 150 times 25 patients a day, well, it's going to generate for that office $3,750 per day. So let's kind of break this down. If you're doing the billing, let's kind of see what this is going to look like for you, again, on a daily basis. So if the doctor's collecting $3,700, $3,750 a month, and then you're charging that doctor 7%. Remember, that's the same number that we used earlier. I think the only difference is we've added a few more patients to this. Your average earnings for that particular day is $262.50 a day. Now, if you times that out times 8 hours in a day's time, you're seeing that that's not too shabby with one doctor. Okay. So now let's tell you how much time this is going to take you to do those 25 claims. Now, you got to remember, a claim is nothing more than a procedure code, or I'm sorry, a diagnosis code, what's wrong with the patient, and then a procedure code, that's what the doctor did for you as a patient. And that comes in to be put together on what's called a CMS 1500 form. Well, that's automatically going to be there for you to be able to bill for in our platform, our billing platform. So what you're going to do, you're going to take Susie Q, whoever that doctor sees there, and let's say that patient came in, they've got strep throat. That would be the diagnosis. The procedure is that the doctor saw them for 15 minutes, maybe even did another procedure, a throat culture, and did all that. And then they put all those charges together, and voila, there's $150 worth of charges that needs to be sent out. And then basically, so what you're doing, you're finding the patient's name in the doctor's billing system, or if you're using our billing system, our iClaim billing system, you'd look that patient up, you'd put that first code in, then you're going to put that second code in, and you're going to run it through a scrubber inside of our system. And then you're going to get ready. And if it's clear, you're going to hit submit. And folks, that's going to take you, let's say it takes you 2 minutes a claim. Well, that's 25 minutes. So you can see there, you could be all done within about an hour and a half of 90 minutes of worth of work there. So now let's calculate that all the way out to the entire year. Because remember, what I'm trying to share with you is helping you start to build on your legacy with one doctor at a time, to where if it grows enough, or like we've heard from so many of our business partners here at American Business Systems, they've got their entire family working in there. And then if, sometimes they're not even helping family, they're helping some friends. So I look at this as building a legacy, whether you're having your friends help you or whether you're having family help you, you're building your legacy because this is your business. So again, you're making 262 a day times 5. That's a little over $1,300 per week. And if you times that out times 52, folks, that's $68,250 a year. Now, again, reel that back in just a little bit to understand. Remember, even if it took you 2 hours a day to do that, you're making probably half of what most of you really want to work, or half of what you really most of you want to earn if you were working for yourself. Because you're thinking in my mind, or at least I've always thought in my mind as an entrepreneur, if I can make at least $100,000 a year at what I'm doing, I know that I can make this. And so, folks, let's take it out to, let's say that you have 3 doctors that you're doing billing for, at each one doing just about the same thing. Well, that's going to net you about $204,000. And again, if you have 3 doctors and it's taking you 2 hours a day for each of these, that's 2, 4, 6 hours. And so, folks, this is no drive time. You don't have to go do much more than just get up and have your coffee in the morning, kick your computer open and get things going and start doing your billing. You're managing the full revenue cycle management of these doctors. And it's going to take you anywhere from, if you're fast, it could be as less than 5 hours. It might take you a little bit slower on some because you might have a little bit more complicated claims to have to deal with, or you're maybe having to make some adjustments and take care of some claims that may have come back denied for whatever reason. So you're going to work each one of those claims. But again, let's say that you have 3 doctors right here and you're doing the billing for these. Again, it's going to take you on average between 5 and 6 hours a day. And again, folks, even if it took you 8 hours a day, 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the afternoon, still making 200K with 3 doctors, you can see how clearly that can work. Now, again, when you have every doctor to be the same, no. You could have one doctor that's a primary care. This one of these doctors could be a chiropractor. The other one could be a cardiologist. And so you can kind of see there, you may not make as much with a chiropractor as you do with the cardiologist, but you could also, you're going to make more money on your reimbursements for the doctors even if you had like a cardiologist. So there's how we're going to help you. Now, one place I want you to go to is on our website. You'll find this on our website. You go all the way to the bottom of the page on our website, and at the bottom there's a little bitty link down there called the income calculator. And so I'm showing this to you that you can plug in your same numbers. So let's say that you want to kind of play around this a little bit. So I kind of blew this up a little bit, but you can put in whatever billing rate that you want. Now, I recommend that you don't go below 5%. Now, the only reason that I would ever charge a doctor at 5% is because they may be a very high money volume. Okay, so that might be like a cardiologist or a surgeon of some sort, where their charges are going to be in the $200 to $250 range. Okay, and it could be even higher than that. Could be, for instance, if you're doing billing for a urologist that does some real specialty things in there, because I remember that's one of the kind of the clients that we used to have. There was no big deal that sometimes those charges would be $200 to $300 per visit for each of his patients. Sometimes it could even be more than that, because if they're doing these little radiation drops in there for a particular type of cancer patient, then it literally could be anywhere from $400 to $500 procedure. So I may drop that down in the 5% just because I know that could be pressing it a little bit. And obviously I'm making more money and I may not even be doing as many claims. However, on the other side of it, if I'm doing something like for a chiropractor, I may be up in that 7 to 8, maybe even 9%, because I'm doing a lot of claims, but the reimbursements are a little bit lower. So we always suggest that your happy medium is always going to be from 6 to 8%. Okay. There'll be sometimes you'll go as high as 9, but there might be a time where you might tap that 5% sometimes, but that's rare. But that's where our support team is going to help you make sure that you're making the wisest and best decision there. So you can put the percentage in there, then put your average claim amount, what's going to be back basically reimbursed. So if you want to drop that down to 6% and $100 claim, I wouldn't change the 25. Matter of fact, I'd probably even bump it up to 30 because usually that's what I typically see as a doctor, seeing about 15 patients in the morning, 15 patients in the afternoon. You're going to still find that to be roughly around 68,000. Now, on our website, we do have some low numbers there to talk to you about on where it says, how much can I make? We'll say it could be as low as $25,000 a year. And that maybe that might be your starter doctor. And the reason I say that there is I'm going to share a story here in just a moment about someone that I know personally who did their first practice analysis today. And I'm looking forward to sharing with that brief personal story here in just a moment. But just to give you, for instance, Brian and Laura Dean, who these people you can talk to, I'm going to share with you about what you can do to talk with some of our business owners already. But back in 2021, at that time, their business, they had 7 full-time employees. They owned a 6,000 square foot building by that time because what they did, they were making big business decisions. They just said, instead of just renting the place, they found a place that they could actually end up buying. So anyway, you can see where it goes there, but you can see here it replaced their incomes, their prior income to be before ABS. It replaces their income 3 to 4 times for the book though, and they have a profit margin of anywhere from 45 to 55%. Now again, they put to work 17 people. Now, this is not the norm for everybody. Obviously, this is one of the folks that have really gone out there and just really what I would call it, make it a real business for them. But folks, that's what you can expect. This is what you can do. This is where you can take it. So when we're talking about a legacy, do you not think that the deans have a legacy that they're going to be able to either pass on to their family members or to one of their children that want to do that? Because that's what this whole thing's about. It's about family. It's about building this legacy for you. It's about doing something and making the right decisions. And again, this is what these folks have done. So let's kind of wrap up here the last few minutes here. I want to talk with you about ABS is going to give you and have a complete business package. Now, obviously, you can kind of go through all of this on our website. Take your time when you're going through all this with your business coach here at ABS. But one of the first things that you're always going to have available is the iClaim EMRX platform. Now, the great thing about this is we have now expanded this out, not just to have one particular platform that we're using, but we actually have 3 different billing platforms. Now, they're all labeled as iClaim because that's our kind of our generality name for our billing platforms. And we've got them white labeled for each one of our billing platforms here. And the same thing for EMRX, that's the electronic medical records platform. But and the reason why we have 3 now is because we've found the need to have 3. And so we're able to expand and have different new technology partners that's helped us deliver even better services, some great pricing for some doctors that might not be able to want the full blown of everything, but they just need a kind of a pare down of some things there. It's really not even pared down. It's just a different way of doing business to get the doctors on a really good billing platform. And you can, again, talk with your business coach about each one of those and the different specialties of each one of those that those can bring. But not only just the iClaim and the EMRX, we've got several different other services that you can present to the doctor, whether it's Quick Collect or Audit Guard or CodeWrite. Obviously, when you see Audit Guard and CodeWrite, that has to do with the coding. So those that are on here today and you might be a little concerned about, gosh, I don't know any medical codings. Now, folks, if you kind of go back a couple of webinars that we talked about a few weeks ago, really kind of dove into for those that might be a little bit concerned about coding. I kind of went through that. And what I'm going to be doing in the next couple of webinars, so if you don't get it this one, you're going to get it at the next one. I'm going to kind of go back over really some of the importance of some of these specialties and these services. But the other one that you can see here on the bottom row that you just don't always see with other possible business opportunities in medical billing. We have virtual care. Virtual care is, again, a service that you can provide to the doctor so that they can see their patients after hours. And that's what, remember, I mentioned that earlier to you, is that the doctors may see patients in the office, but what if they want to do some telemed visits with some patients after hours? Maybe they want to work a little bit more and get in 2 to 3 more visits in the afternoon. Well, through virtual care, they can do that because that gives the doctors an opportunity to see their patients remotely, their blood pressure readings, their weight, their glucometers for diabetics, or their pulse oximeters to make sure that their oxygen levels are at the right levels. This is all done remotely, and that's through virtual care. So that's a great opportunity to give to the doctor. HIPAA compliance, which is compliance card. Choice pay, that kind of goes along with quick collect, all to do with collecting the doctor's financials, receivables. Auto card is to help the doctor send out real personalized cards. Sometimes they're postcards, some they're enveloped cards stuck in there, but this is a way that we can help the doctor build their business, remind their patients about certain visits that might be coming up. And then obviously you can see the next one there. It says calls Credentials Now. Credentials Now is an opportunity for the doctors to not have to worry about whether they're credentialed with a certain insurance company. And then lastly, those that want to venture out of the medical billing part of it, and you want to go into the dental billing side of it, we have another platform which makes 4 billing types of platforms here at ABS, and that one's on dental billing. So as you can see here, ABS has everything here to help train you, to help you build that. We've got additional virtual workshops. That's just this, you're going to go through a series of training modules here live, but we have live workshops. We have on-demand training workshops that we've already done. You're going to have lifetime of support through here. You've got marketing support that's going to go out. And then I'm going to kind of wrap it up here. I know I'm hitting the bottom of the hour, but I want to kind of touch again on this marketing support because, folks, to me, this is where everybody on the call says, Eric, that might sound great, but again, I just want to make sure that I can get that first client. I'm gonna park it right here, and I'm going to share a brief little personal story. I've got a very close person that I'm working with right now. She just happens to be my daughter, and I've helped her at least get an introduction to a particular doctor. And we were talking about this, and I said, now what you need to do is make sure that you do everything that ABS has trained you to do. And so I got to talk with her today, and she said, Dad, she goes, one of the greatest things that this person that I talked to and actually did a practice analysis with was this. She said, you gave me this book, The New Thriving Medical Practice. She says she thought that her husband, who's the doctor, she thought that he ordered it and highlighted it. But no, it was her. She's the business person there for her own business through ABS. She went through and highlighted certain aspects of the book. I'm going to show that to you right here. You can kind of see an example of that right there. So what we're going to teach you is show you how to go through the book and highlight these areas. And this is what the lady said to my daughter. She goes, every place that you highlighted was exactly helping me answer every question that I had. And she said this to her. She goes, and I look forward to doing business with you. This is the power of our marketing system here. So sometimes you're going to get a lead, could be through a family member. It could be because you've attended a networking meeting. It could be because you've just gone out and done some direct marketing. But I can't tell you and express to you the excitement that I got to hear today of how important this book is and how this is actually going to help you and others land your first client. And so I want to kind of start winding down here for those that are going to be listening to this recordedly. And I'm going to kind of come back and help answer any particular questions that anybody's here on here live want to do. So let me kind of get through this last part here because I want to share with you your next steps. The first thing I want you to know here in building your legacy is to make sure that you understand that you have a 30-day money-back guarantee. And that is true. So once you become an ABS business owner here, you've got 30 days to continue evaluating, and that's going to take you all the way through training. Our training lasts anywhere from 10 to 12 days. They're all done remotely. They're done with on Zoom like this, but it'll be one-on-one. You'll have your side will be open to talk to your trainer, just so, but like we're doing today, but still within that 12-day or so training, you still have an entire 30 days to still make your decisions, because we want you to make sure that you feel like you've made that right decision. Remember, I shared that legacy quote for you. Nobody's else going to do it but you, and what decisions you make. And this is part of making your right decisions, because we want to make sure that you understand everything you're getting here from ABS. And it all starts off here, first of all, by getting back with your business coach here and ask him, if you haven't already done that, ask for the research guide. It's about a 65 page research guide that you can go get and thumb through. There's a lot of information there. Second thing that you need to do, again, is go browse our YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/YABS. This is updated all the time, so you can go through it, watch different things. Matter of fact, that first one right there in the middle, you see right in the middle, this guy, Jeff Bruner. Jeff Bruner was actually helping my daughter do the practice analysis. So this is how much we help support you. So we're here to help you all along the way. We never just leave you after you've paid your investment here and got you through training. We don't go, got another one through training, let's move on to the next one. Not here at ABS. We're here to help you all the way through. Call some of our ABS business owners. You can certainly be able to talk with some of the folks that I've already shared with you here. These are some of the folks. Some of these are your trainers. Some of these are your support people. Some of these are obviously some of just regular ABS business owners that you can chat with. The other thing I want you to do is get back with your business coach. If you haven't already, scheduled a live demonstration of the medical billing platform. This is going to be helpful for you, because this is going to start educating you without even you giving us a dime. We love to educate. We want you to make sure that you get through that. Then finally, the last couple of things here, get your purchase agreement. It's about a 5-page purchase agreement. You're going to get a link from your business coach to go through it. You can get that today. Even if you're not purchasing today, go ahead and get it, download it, start reviewing it. And then lastly, we want you to get signed up for your training, get your funding in, and we look forward to having you at training. Folks, we could, even if you're hearing this recording, we could literally get your training started as early as next week. So I'm going to put up this last slide up here again. You can give us a call here at 866-565-8413. If you end up watching this a little bit later and you're calling us and it's after hours, you'll be able to have a chance to leave a message. We'll call you back the next day. We'll certainly follow up with you. Or if you want to shoot us an email, you can do that at info@absystems.com. And there you go, folks.